Make the Camel 30-day mildness test, and you'll know how mild a cigarette can be. Camels are so mild that in a recent test of hundreds of people who smoked only Camels for 30 days, noted throat specialists making weekly examinations reported not one single case of throat irritation due to smoking Camels. But test Camels yourself in your T-zone. See if you don't agree that Camels are the mildest, best-tasting cigarettes you ever smoked.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do some advertising for my sponsor, Camel Cigarettes. I really do not have to mention Camel Cigarettes. I don't even have to mention the word Camels. I don't have to mention my sponsor. I don't have to, but the unemployment agencies are jammed. But instead of telling you how wonderful Camels are, I'm going to show you, absolutely show you, that 4 people out of 5 actually ask for Camels. And the 5th one asks for matches. I've been working on this here for about 3 days. This is my display. Oh, yes. Yes, miss.
Do you have any Camel cigarettes here?
Camel cigarettes? I'll look. Camel cigarettes. You wish a pack?
Please.
Yes. Here's a nice pack. I've been working on this display for 3 days now. There you are.
Thank you.
Oh, that's perfectly all right. I'll finish the display, you know. Oh, yes? Yes.
I'd like a package of those delicious, mild Camel cigarettes. See.
Yes. Unquestionably, she's being paid by the sponsor. Camel cigarettes? Yes. Here's some Camel. I've been working on this display 3 days.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's perfectly all right. I'll finish the display. Oh, for heaven's sake. Yes, miss?
I'd like a package of Camel cigarettes, please.
Camel?
Yes.
Oh, there's some up there. I've been working on this display 3 days, you know. It's to go up 2 more high, you see. There you are, miss.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, you better make that 2 packages.
You mean you want another package of Camels?
Yes, please.
You just thought of that? You made it up yourself? There you are, miss.
Thank you.
Perfectly all right. Got to finish the display. Bill Frawley. My goodness me, Bill. My goodness me. Bill, I must admit that you have me absolutely... I'm so surprised, you know, at seeing you here.
Why?
Well, I don't know. I'm just... I thought that you were to be on my show next week when I have Joey Brown also and Ilyona Massey. That's what... And I'm surprised to see you here tonight.
Yes, I know that, Ed. I'm very happy about it. Thank you.
Well, that's
But I just happened to be in the neighborhood, and I thought I'd drop in for a pack of Camels.
Camel cigarettes?
Yes, you have Camels.
Well, I'll look. One pack of Camel cigarettes.
One pack.
Won't catch me again on that.
No.
This, huh?
I want a pack out of this carton.
Pardon me?
This carton.
You want a pack out of that carton?
That's right, that carton.
He probably will not be on the show next week. Thought of this, I don't know. 3 days I've been working on this.
Come on, son, don't loiter. Come on.
Not loitering, I'm just...
Come on.
There you are, Bill.
Thank you. But I want the whole carton.
One of those?
This carton.
You want this carton here?
That carton there. Do you mind?
I've been waiting 3 days on this thing here.
Hurry it up, son. Will you hurry it up?
There you are, Bill.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you very much.
See you next week, Bill.
You bet you will.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
And be funny.
Yes, sir. I suppose that you folks thought that all of those Camel cigarettes were going to fall down. You know? Didn't you really? Because I did, too. You know.
This is a disgrace. You call that advertising? You've been at it 3 days. Where's that carton of Camels?
What carton?
Get another carton of Camels.
Get another carton yourself.
Pardon me, do you have a fountain pen?
Oh, a fountain pen. Yes, sir, I do. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Have a block. Wise guy, huh? Do you have a fountain pen?
Well, yes. Here's one.
Thank you.
Oh! Oh! You know something? That this has got to stop. Because you're driving me crazy. I've got to get rid of these executives. I've got to find a way to get... Please, bring that on. I've got to get rid of them. Bring it on, fast, would you please? I get rid of them. I must get rid of them. Would you take this, please, from me, Lenny? Thank you very much. See, these are the 3 executives. You've seen their initials for years. That's C, and that's B, and that's S. CBS. You've seen them all over. I'll get rid of them. Mr. C, you want it on the phone here.
Oh, thank you.
It's all right.
Hello? Hello?
Mr. B,
Yes?
you want it on the telephone, please.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Mr. S,
Yes?
you want it on the telephone
Oh,
here.
thank you, thank you. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
And we'll get rid of them. All right.
Every week in the year, the Camel people send gift cigarettes to servicemen's and veterans' hospitals. This week, Camels go to Veterans Hospitals, Coatesville, Pennsylvania, and Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, United States Army Oliver General Hospital, Augusta, Georgia, and the United States Naval Hospital, Charleston, South Carolina. The Camel people have now sent more than 190 million free Camels to servicemen, servicewomen, and veterans.
Allie Reynolds of the Yankees takes his golf almost as seriously as he takes his baseball. He shoots in the high 70s. And when Allie lights up a cigarette, you can be sure it's a Camel. He discovered years ago that Camels have a full, rich flavor and a mildness that agree with his throat pack after pack. Am I right, Allie?
I've been smoking Camels for a long, long time, and I know they're mild.
Smoke Camels yourself, folks. You'll see why, after all the mildness tests, Camel is America's most popular cigarette by billions.
Among the many stars of opera, stage, and screen who are Camel smokers is Miss Ann Sothern.
On stage and screen and radio, Ann Southern is a star. She's chosen Camels 'cause she knows how mild Camels are.
Camels, smoke Camels, and see how mild a cigarette can be.
Whenever Billy Cox of the Dodgers packs for a picnic, a carton of Camels goes into the basket. He goes for that cool Camel mildness and Camel's rich flavor. Let's hear what Billy has to say.
I get more pleasure out of Camels than I ever got from any other cigarette.
Folks, Billy Cox is just one of many big league baseball stars who smokes Camels. Like millions of fans, they've discovered how mild and good tasting a cigarette can be. Try Camels yourself in your T-zone. That's T for throat and T for taste. You'll see why, after all the mildness tests, Camel is America's most popular cigarette by billions.
He's been a great movie star and a U.S. Navy test pilot. He's been a big-name band leader who plays every instrument in the band. He's been a Broadway leading man, a radio star, and a television star. He's Mr. Versatility, Buddy Rogers.
And I've also been, still am, and will continue to be a Camel smoker. You see, I have a pretty good idea of what I want in a cigarette. I like rich flavor. And to me, there's no cigarette that tastes as good as a Camel. I like a cigarette that agrees with my throat, and Camels do just that.
Like Buddy Rogers, millions find Camels exactly to their liking. Camels are America's most popular cigarette by far. They have a flavor you won't find in any other cigarette. Try Camels yourself as your steady smoke for 30 days. Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good tasting Camels are pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions.
After a game, Carl Furillo of the Dodgers looks for his pretty wife and a mild cigarette, a Camel, of course. Carl tried many different brands before he decided on Camels as his steady smoke. It was the sensible 30-day Camel test that really convinced him just how mild a cigarette can be. Follow Carl's lead. Smoke Camels yourself. You'll see why, after all the mildness tests, Camel is America's most popular cigarette by billions. Here's an impromptu interview with screen star Dennis O'Keefe.
About how long have you been smoking Camels?
Well, rough guess, I'd say about 15, 20 years.
Were Camels your first love in cigarettes, or did you try other brands?
Well, they weren't my first love. No, I smoked some other brands before I switched to Camels.
Well, did you find that Camels were better, taste better, get along with your throat?
Well, yes, they get along wonderfully with your throat. The main thing is that I like the taste of them. I think that anybody that smokes for the pleasure that they get out of it, and I get a big kick out of Camels.
Well, you're around the studios, the sound studios, that is, quite a bit making pictures. How long do you work during the course of a day?
Well, we work 8 hours during the course of the day, not counting overtime, which we manage to wiggle in once in a while. And, of course, during that time, we talk continuously. That's what we get paid for, you know.
Well, don't you feel that your cigarettes have to be pretty mild, then?
Well, yes, a mild cigarette's a very important part of a cigarette. If they haven't got mildness, why, they irritate you and cause hoarseness, etc. I find Camel's a very mild cigarette, but at the same time, well, you know, you've had a good smoke.
Say, I can see you're enjoying it. Dennis, did you make your own 30-day Camel mildness test?
Well, personally, I've made the 30-day Camel test many, many times over. But it didn't take me 30 days either to know that this was my brand. Just about the first pack, I think.
Thanks very much, Dennis.
Say, there's Dennis O'Keefe.
Right. Looks just like he does in the movie.
Gee, he's good looking. Let's walk past this table.
Now, let's not be too obvious.
Look, he smokes Camels just like we do.
Sure, I smoke Camels. Have one?
All right. Thank you.
How about you?
Much obliged.
I'd like to tell you why I smoke Camels. And like many actors and actresses I know, I've smoked them for years. I've never found another cigarette that comes up to Camel's rich, full flavor. And here's a reason it's so important to me as an actor. When I changed to Camels, I found out that they agree with my throat, pack after pack, and week after week. Try Camels yourself. Smoke them for 30 days and see if you don't agree with me. You'll see why Camel is by far America's most popular cigarette.
Cigarette mildness is important to actors and singers. That's why so many smoke Camels. Listen to Dennis O'Keefe.
When I changed to Camels, I found that they agree with my throat. Pack after pack, week after week. And no other cigarette comes up to Camels for flavor.
Here's your script for tomorrow, Mr. Hames. Rehearsal at 2.
Oh, thanks, Madge. Say, you know something, Madge? Anybody in this business has a pretty tough schedule. For example, I just made a new movie, got some new records to cut, with radio and television guest appearances, and get kind of rugged.
Kind of rugged on your voice. Oh, I see you're a Camel smoker, too.
I sure am. With all the singing I do, I've got to think of my throat. And believe me, Camels have a mildness that agrees with my throat, and a rich flavor I couldn't find in any other cigarette.
Try Camels yourself as your steady smoke for 30 days. Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good-tasting Camels are, pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions.
Every puff's a pleasure. Folks, you can well imagine how important my voice is to me. So naturally, I have to have a cigarette that agrees with my throat. So I smoke Camels. They suit my throat and taste to a T. Why don't you change to Camels, too?
Let's watch a motion picture in the making.
Your record's over, sweetheart. Believe me, I hate to see a pretty girl like you go to jail.
Okay, print it. Relax, everybody. You too, Mr. Poe.
Well, that's something I really know how to do. Whether it's between scenes in a motion picture or during rehearsals of my radio program, Richard Diamond, I know how to relax. I just sit back and enjoy Camel. There's real flavor for you. I smoke Camels regularly because they're mild and they agree with my throat. And that's mighty important when you use your voice as much as I do.
Try Camels yourself as your steady smoke for 30 days. Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good-tasting Camels are, pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions.
Yes, make a note. Think of your throat. Enjoy Camels. I always do.
What cigarette do you smoke, Doctor?
Tens of thousands of doctors in all branches of medicine, in all parts of the country, were asked that question.
What cigarette do you smoke, Doctor?
The brand named most was Camel. Yes, surveys show more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Smoke Camels, the cigarette so many doctors enjoy. What cigarette do you smoke? You'll be interested to know how the doctors of America answered that question. Tens of thousands of doctors. Doctors in all parts of the country, in every state of the Union. Doctors in every branch of medicine were asked,
what cigarette do you smoke, doctor?
In this nationwide survey of general practitioners, surgeons, throat specialists, diagnosticians, and so on, the brand named most was Camel.
Yes, according to this survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Try Camels yourself. Make the one sensible cigarette test. Make your own 30-day Camel mildness test in your T-Zone. Smoke only Camels for 30 days. Enjoy Camel's rich, full flavor. And see how well Camels agree with your throat. Pack after pack, week after week. See for yourself why Camels are so popular with the doctors of America.
How often does your job call you out of bed in the middle of the night? Well, if you were a doctor, it would be often. And generally, there isn't much time to spare.
Coffee, Doctor?
Oh, fine. Have a Camel with your coffee. Thanks. You know, this night work's kind of rough, isn't it? That's right. But a Camel's always a pleasure.
Yes, folks, the pleasing mildness of a Camel is just as enjoyable to a doctor as it is to you or me. In a nationwide survey, doctors in all branches of medicine were asked, what cigarette do you smoke, doctor? The brand named most was Camels. Tens of thousands of doctors, general practitioners, surgeons, specialists, doctors in every branch of medicine were included. And according to this nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Try Camels yourself, the cigarette so many doctors enjoy.
Beecher Rowe of the Dodgers is an expert fisherman and takes every opportunity he can to go fishing. And part of his equipment is a pack of Camels. He tried many different brands and has this to say about Camels.
No other cigarette can compare with Camels for mildness or flavor.
Smoke Camels for 30 days. Through steady smoking, you'll discover how mild and good-tasting Camels are. You'll see why, after all the mildness tests, Camel is America's most popular cigarette by billions.
The Cleveland pitching staff is considered one of the strongest in the leagues, and one of the Indians' mound stars is Early Wynn. Wynn, a 20-game winner in 1951, is especially effective when the pressure is on. Early, or Gus as he's sometimes called, is a husky Alabaman. He's a cool right-hander, and his coolness has paid off in strikeouts. Watch him charge that bunt in a morning workout. You have to be pretty good to lay one down past Wynn. Like so many Major League ball players, Early enjoys his moments of relaxation with a Camel cigarette. Before Wynn picked Camels for steady smoking, he tried the various mildness tests. The test that gave him the proof he wanted was the 30-day Camel test. He discovered that puff after puff, Camels have a mildness that agrees with his throat and a flavor that doesn't tire his taste. Try Camels yourself. You'll soon see why, after all the tests, Camel is America's favorite cigarette.
Just because Ilona Massey has reached stardom does not mean she has stopped studying. Beautiful Ilona takes every chance she can get to improve her voice.
Well, let's take a break, Ilona. How about time out for a cigarette?
Oh, if it's Camel, yes. Once a Camel smoker, always a Camel smoker. Thank you. You see, I found that out when I made my own 30-day Camel mildness test. Camels are just right for my throat, and you know how much that means to me. After all, I use my voice quite a great deal. Besides, I've never smoked another cigarette that tastes as good as a Camel.
See for yourself how mild, how flavorful, how enjoyable Camels are, pack after pack. See why more people smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Change to Camels today.
Let's see what beautiful Ava Gabor does when she finishes a television show. One of the first things is to relax and reach for a cigarette. Yes, they're Camels. Like so many stars who use their voices constantly, Ava Gabor smokes Camels.
Let's go somewhere where we can be comfortable. And I tell you why I smoke Camels. You see, I had to be sure my cigarette agreed with my throat. I tried most of the leading brands, and I found that I liked Camel the best of all.
Try Camels yourself as your steady smoke for 30 days. Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good-tasting Camels are, pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions.
Try Camels yourself.
Like so many actors and singers, Ava Gabor smokes Camels. Miss Gabor, will you tell us why?
I had to be sure my cigarettes agreed with my throat. Since I changed to Camels, I don't worry about my throat. Camels are so mild and they taste so good.
Outfielder Hank Bauer of the New York Yankees likes to take life easy when he's not playing baseball. That is, as long as he has plenty of Camel cigarettes on hand. Hank tried different leading brands, but his own 30-day Camel test proved to him that Camel's mildness and flavor suits him to a T. Do as Hank Bauer did, folks. Test and compare Camels for mildness and flavor in your own T-Zone. That's T for throat and T for taste. You'll see why, after all the mildness tests, Camel is America's most popular cigarette by billions.
Among the many stars of opera, stage, and screen who are Camel smokers is Henry Fonda.
Henry Fonda gladly tried the famous Camel test, and that's how Henry did decide that Camels suit him best.
Camels, smoke Camels, and see how mild a cigarette can be.
As the Cleveland Indians make their bid this year for the American League pennant, catcher Jim Hegan continues to be a very important man in the starting lineup. Here's Jim taking some warm-up pitches between innings. With the exception of 3 years out for military duty, Big Jim has been with the Indians since 1941. Yes, Big Jim. He stands 6'2", and he makes an excellent target for the Cleveland pitchers. He's one of the best catchers in the business, and his warm smile makes him very popular with his teammates. Hegan loves to talk baseball, on or off the field. And like a lot of his teammates and so many big league players, Jim gets more pleasure from Camels than from any other cigarette. By testing many different brands, he discovered that Camel has everything he wants in a cigarette. mildness and flavor that suits his throat and taste to a T. Follow Jim Hegan's lead. Smoke Camels yourself. You'll see why, after all the tests, Camel leads all other brands by billions.
Clem Labine, young Dodger pitcher, packs a carton of Camels whenever the team goes on the road. Is that right, Clem?
I'll take Camels any day for real smoking pleasure.
Yes, folks, Clem Labine has discovered, like millions of fans, that puff after puff and pack after pack, no other cigarette compares to Camel for real smoking enjoyment. Smoke Camels yourself for 30 days. You'll discover that Camel mildness and flavor suits your throat and taste to a T. You'll see why, after all the mildness tests, Camel is America's most popular cigarette by billions. Marguerite Piazza, one of the loveliest stars in opera and television, is among the many, many smokers around the country who have made the 30-day Camel mildness test, smoking only Camels for 30 days. Let's hear what Miss Piazza has to say.
If you want to smoke a cigarette that's mild and good tasting, too, try Camels. I did, and I found that Camels have a mildness that agrees with my throat, and a rich flavor that I didn't find in any other brand.
Try Camels yourself as your steady smoke for 30 days. Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good-tasting Camels are, pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions.
Why don't you change to Camels, too?
Here's what opera star Marguerite Piazza says about Camels.
If you want to smoke a cigarette that's mild and good tasting, too, try Camels. I did, and I found that Camels have a mildness that agrees with my throat, and a rich flavor that I didn't find in any other brand. Try Camels and see.
Among the many stars of opera, stage, and screen who are Camel smokers is Miss Marguerite Piazza.
Miss Piazza has a thrilling voice that has us all beguiled, and Camels are her smoking choice because they're cool and mild.
Camel, smoke Camel, and see how mild a cigarette can be.
Among the many stars of opera, stage, and screen who are Camel smokers is Miss Maureen O'Hara.
Maureen O'Hara's cigarette must always suit her throat, and that's the reason Camels get Maureen O'Hara's vote.
Camel, smoke Camel, and see how mild a cigarette can be. How mild, how mild, how mild can a cigarette be? Make the Camel 30-day test, and you'll see, yes, you'll see, how mild a cigarette can be. Smoke Camels and see.
You may have a little trouble finding the town of Alberta Lee, Minnesota on the map, but we probably all know one of its native sons, Richard Carlson. He's been in many movies and in Broadway plays. He has also written plays for Broadway. Like so many stars of the theatrical world, Richard Carlson smokes America's most popular cigarette, Camels. Here's why he smokes Camels.
You know, when you're shooting a picture, you've got to be in good voice. Well, since I switched to Camels, I never worry. Camels get along with my throat pack after pack. And they've got a flavor that no other cigarette has.
Try Camels yourself as your steady smoke for 30 days. Your T-Zone will tell you how mild and good-tasting Camels are, pack after pack, week after week. You'll soon see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette, leading all other brands by billions.
Won't you join me?
Camel close-ups. The ladies always take a second look at Robert Merrill, popular baritone of opera and concert stage. Let's meet him after the show.
Bob, those broad shoulders of yours suggest that you were an athlete.
Well, I guess I'm the only opera singer who was ever slated for a tryout with the Brooklyn Dodgers. But I'm not the only singer who's a Camel fan. Lots of us are.
Well, Bob, tell me, why do so many singing stars like you smoke Camels?
Well, in my case, what with rehearsals, a heavy schedule at the opera, TV shows, concert tours, I can't take chances with my voice. I have to have a cigarette that agrees with my throat, and Camels fill the bill. They're mild, and they taste great.
Make a note. Think of your throat. Try Camels today.
The broad-shouldered gentleman you see lighting a Camel is Robert Merrill, star of opera and television.
Like so many singers I know, I smoke Camels. I can't take chances with my voice. I have to have a cigarette that agrees with my throat, and Camels fill the bill. They're mild, and they taste great.
Among the many stars of opera, stage, and screen who are Camel smokers is Robert Young.
Robert Young would walk a mile for Camels and with haste, for he smoked Camels quite a while. They suit his throat and taste.
Camels, smoke Camels, and see how mild a cigarette can be.
Like so many other big league players, Vern Bickford spends most of his spare time out of doors. Whether it's on a putting green or just fishing, Bick often takes time to enjoy a Camel, America's favorite cigarette. Yes, Vern Bickford, too, gets more enjoyment from Camels than he got from any other cigarette. Is that right, Bick?
With Camels, every puff's a pleasure.
Try Camels yourself, fans, for 30 days. Through steady smoking, you'll discover how mild and good-tasting Camels are. You'll see why Camel is America's most popular cigarette by billions. When Vern Stevens of the Red Sox is taking it easy, you'll find he has a pack of Camels within reach. Vern is one of many Major League players who smokes Camels. He found that Camels have a cool mildness and a rich flavor unmatched by any other cigarette. What do you have to say about Camels, Vern?
Camels are a great smoke.
Yes, Camel cigarettes are a great smoke. Try Camels yourself, fans, for 30 days. Through steady smoking, you'll discover how mild and good-tasting Camels are. Why Camel is America's most popular cigarette by billions. Vic Raschi, star right-hander of the New York Yankees, knows the word for America's favorite cigarette, Camel. Yes, Vic's a long-time Camel smoker, too, just like a lot of his teammates. He discovered way back that Camel mildness agrees with his throat, and Camel flavor is unmatched by any other cigarette. What do you say to that, Vic?
You just can't beat Camels for mildness and flavor.
Try Camels yourself, folks, for 30 days. Through steady smoking, you'll see why, after all the mildness tests, Camel is America's most popular cigarette by billions.